The children of Kobo and Pibor have never seen Wabur again. They have never seen a steamer. All these are problems that we are living with. And above all, by the way, waterways transport is the cheapest in the world. Why are we avoiding it and making our people to suffer? Why don't we clear these waterways so that the goods are taken to them and sold to them in a cheaper way? It is unfortunate that the dredging those days was being done without any environmental studies. And I have not seen any environmental negative impact for those days. And at present, we are saying no, feasibility studies must be conducted. All the projects must have feasibility studies first, so that we know the negative impact. Yes, it is true, but this should not be at the expense of the people, because it is human being first, then come others. And by the way, to add to your word, Kwar, water is not gold, but it is life. Water is life. That is true. But when it becomes a problem, then you must find how best you can live with that water. And it is our duty as a government to find out how best we can live with this water. This is the situation in which we are. Our presenters, you have had so many questions. I'm sure some of you, all of you, everyone must have picked his or her own question. So the floor is yours now to respond to some of the so the floor is yours now. May you kindly respond to the concerns of the members before we go down to the closing session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brother Makuei. As for the first question, any study must have the positive impact on the stakeholders at mind. When you don't go for a study that you have indications at the outset that's not going to be useful. Also, I want just to comment quickly on the issue of capacity and differentiate capacity from an institutional capacity. You can train the people if they don't have cars, if they don't have laptops, if they don't have offices. What are they going to do? So when we are talking about empowering the two main ministries, we should have at heart developing their institutional capacity, and without elaborating, there are donors that may be willing to do that, and I will discuss this with Dr. Riak sometime in the future. If you want to clean or dredge, forget about the semantics. If you want to dredge or clean up to 120 centimeters, that is 4 feet, be my guest, as of tomorrow morning, do the whole river, makes no difference. Because this is the draft of the vessel that used to run in the Nile, in the White Nile, since 1913. The River Transport Corporation was established in 1912, and it became fully operational in 1913. The draft of all the vessels, the pontoon or the boat, is 4 feet, 120 centimeters. Some of the equipment, and I have seen some of the specifications because I managed to get the bill of lading from Arkin. The dredgers are 50 tons each. There are 2 dredgers that are 50 tons each. That's massive. And we need to see the equipment, and I'm really delighted that Brother Emmanuel now has agreed to release the technical cooperation agreement for the study. It is for the people of South Sudan. I am not interested in it, but I need to study so that I give you better advice if you need it. For Sister Angelina, why don't we build the dam inside South Sudan? Once the barrow crosses, it is in black soil at the top and sand underneath. It is very expensive to build dams like that. If you remember, at one point, Egypt was threatening to bombard the Gerd. The Ethiopians were laughing. The reason is that Egypt did not have the type of airplanes or the type of bombs to go to the base of the dam. You can destroy, the top is really cosmetic for you to pass and so on. But the basis of any dam is the foundation. And if that foundation is not on rock, it can be very expensive. The substitute to that, if one day we become very rich and we want to do our own dam in that area, then we need to do what they call piles. The piles could go down 50, 60, 70 meters. This is concrete to be driven down to supplement for the lack of a rock formation on which the dam is to be built. There is no crystal balling. None of us has a crystal ball to know if we do this, we are going to do that. And I think that this is structured form of consultations should be very useful for us. The terms of reference that I have are very simple. They are very clear as well, that this is with community consultation, citizens consultation. So all of us here who claim to be experts, national and international, who are here only to give information that might not be available in the general community. There was a question, which should come first, studies or public consultations? They are not a substitute. And what public consultations are you after? Sometimes a certain department or a certain government falls in a ditch. They make a mistake, and then they do the public consultations to cover up. That's one approach. You can also do public consultations by polling, P-O-L-L-I-N-G, when you go around with forms and so on, and you poll the people. But even the results of the polling, they are not scientific, they are social. They give you an indication. And my last comment, there are no personal...
You told them we come first or they are vice versa?
Sorry?
We come first or vice versa?
No, I think the consultation, it all depends why do you want it. If the government or a government made a mistake and they would like to, well, now let us go to the citizens. That's one way of doing it, and certainly it comes before the project, and the project should hold. If it is at the outset of thinking of the project, then you need to define why do you want the consultations. Because the public, this is not Switzerland. In Switzerland, anything is put to public consultations. If they say no, it is no. It's a very strange system. This is not the case in other parts of the world. So we need to define what public consultations we want to do. My last comment is that, and this is about what I call the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is always Egypt. And I would say there are no permanent friends, there are no permanent enemies, there is always permanent interest. Where does our interest as South Sudan lies? So let us not go into that area which can be very divisive. I think first of all we need to define what are our interests, stroke common interests, stroke interdependencies. You don't make a relationship with someone who doesn't give you an equitable trade. You want my water? Fine. You are brothers in humanity. I will give you my water. However, there has got to be an equitable return for that. So we need to bear in mind at all times that our driving motor, our driving force, is the interest of the people. Thank you.
Then you come first, or I do small thing. Go. Thank you, Your Excellencies. I just want to clarify about 2 points. I want to add a bit to what Taj said. Even if you want to have resources in order to do a pile foundation, in order to do your own storage downstream in plains, we are encouraged. We are encouraged. The whole world has been talking. The dam should be built upstream because